Good evening. Doing another random code stream tonight. We'll see how long this lasts. I've been doing game streams, playthrough streams, spending a lot of time on Outer Wilds, but I finally got the main storyline done on Sunday night. And like I said, I've got a conference to attend on next week, and I need to get some code set up for that and finalize things and stuff like that. So I will probably do an Outer Wild stream on Thursday doing the Stranger, the Echoes of the Eye stuff, which I've been to a couple of times, but I guess there's a lot more for me to do there. So I'm going to do that. I may do a couple streams on Saturday and Sunday, but again, I got to really make sure I got everything down for the talks next week. So I will definitely not be streaming next week between Wednesday and Saturday because I will be gone. But hopefully after that, I'll start playing Splinter Cell Double Agent. So we'll see how that goes. I downloaded it, but I haven't actually tried running it just yet. And some of these games can be quite fun to play because they don't render as nicely and stuff like that. But in any event, we'll see what that's like next week. For now, I'm still working on this bug, which the problem is that Rox is not picking up that this method and this method are not the same. And I think at the end of the last stream, I found it out. Let me get my music going here. We want shuffle off. Oh, we want repeat on, right? Yes. Got some music going on in the background. I think last stream we came up with potentially a way to get around this, which is to look at, if I come here, right now I get down to the point where type parameters matter. If both of them are not type parameters, then we actually look at the type arguments. Because then that looks to see, do those types match? Are they actually real types? Okay, and we have to be recursive about it. So the thing is, though, is I think we need to look at if either one of them is a type argument, then we need to look at where is their origination. And if they're on the type itself, then they may not, they may be different. So we've got to be careful with that. I came up with this last time. So, and this also is leading to the fact that a couple of these tests may fail in this test class. What I'm really concerned about is do all my integration tests pass, and do all my tests with the code generation project, do those tests pass once I get in what I think is a fix. If that occurs, then I can go back and fix some of these. And I want to fix these two because I'm right now having two separate classes, and that's not really the case that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the case where I'm comparing two methods that are within the same type hierarchy. And so that's going to actually matter. So I may have to change those tests. I want to at least change one if it's failing to make it pass and doing it a different way. And then if that works, I'll fix the rest of them on camera. So with that, let's get into it. By the way, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, as I'm trying to hit my first goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Thank you in advance. All right, so here we're looking at the type arguments, and if they're actually real types, then we want to see if they match, because they could be list of string or list of object, and those are actually two different types. So, or list of GUID or whatever. So now we need an else here. We need an else to say, well, what happens if they're both how do I want to say this? If both of them symbol kind type, we want it to be a named type, and named right equals a name type. Then we want to say the types match. Because as I found out, you can actually change the name of the type parameter. Why you would do that, I don't know, but you can. And we would want to make sure that those are equal. So if they're not type parameters, or if the type parameters are both originating from the name type, we want to do a doTypes match. And I don't know if, like I said, if you do something where your base type defines a type parameter called t, and you derive from it, and it says it also has a type parameter called tq, which is being passed into the base type's t parameter. So is that the same thing? I would argue yes. So if both of them are named we do want to say, do they match? I don't know if a symbol equality is going to be good enough here, though. Does it consider them to be equal? And that's right, we get into the doTypes and we also have to be careful here because the self parameter is the parameter symbol. And if we're saying they're type parameters, that isn't good enough. We want to say, do they match? Because the do they match that's going to be the types match, move on. So yeah, this is again always that surgery code. That's why I have my handy drink tonight. And we do this recursively, right? So what would happen if I do this test now? What happens? It failed, but it might have failed. Yeah, it's still not picking up on that. So all right, so is this equals add or update? We don't care about that. What do we care about? We care about refresh equals This is boring. Actually, I could just do it here. Because this should have got T object and T key. Okay. So we do that, we do that. We look at the type parameters of the method, and the method itself does not have any. Right. So now we're looking at the parameter. Okay. All right. So now that matches. And we do the array thing. We do that. The type here is that. And now it's that. Okay. So now we step in. We say left type, right type. Now we know the type names are the same, right? Oh. Well, I knew that I had to put something in here. So now I want to say, this is where I want to say if they're not type parameters, or if they're both original definitions are named types, then we do want to say not do types matched, I think, or that they're closed, or their type parameters that both originated from the type itself and not from the method. Okay. Interesting. Oh, the diffs didn't match up. That's okay. Okay, fine. No, I didn't want to debug. Sorry. I wanted to just run the test. Now it's saying it failed. Why did it fail? Because we now have a second one. Okay. So there we go. We're gonna do that. And we're just going to do this one as well because I'm expecting it to not work. So let's do that. And this is a little bit of the fun work you have to do when you're building. Oops, we want the test log. Okay. When you're building source generators or anything, because you want to compare the code that you're expecting. Of course, to do that, when you regenerate it, I've found, especially with rocks, it's just easier to regen the whole thing, copy pasta it, and take it for as is, rather than trying to piecemeal where the new code was added. And now we have to do the one for the make. And grab that source code. And we'll get rid of those. And now what happens? It passes. That's a first step. But we may have broken a whole crap ton of stuff, and that is an actual measurement, a crap ton. So if we look at this now, we should see adder update. We see refresh with t-object, and we also see refresh with t-key. Okay. How many fail altogether in the unit tests? I would say probably like 4 or 5, but it may be many more. I may have done something that completely invalidated a whole bunch of things. So we'll see. None. Really? That's surprising. That's actually really surprising. So none of them in this are failing. Okay. Shut down, start up again. Let's run all of our tests. And once I see that it build succeeds, okay, cool. I'm going to now add integration test in for this case. While that's going on, let me look at this again. Where's this coming from? Dynamic data. So the way I want to do this right now is just to put in this is the thing we want to... Oh, okay, cool. All right. Now let's see if this fixed this problem. And it did. Okay, let's see if it does everything. This will take a couple of minutes. So if you got any questions, just ask. Gotta pass the time here. So if you're watching, just feel free to ask. AMA, ask me anything. Maybe keep it a little bit to code, but I'm okay with other general questions. So there might... No, the only other bug that I know of in Rocks, there may be more, but the other one that I have on the issues is one that I actually found from another mocking library. That when I tried to do it within Rocks, it failed, I think for a slightly different reason, but it did show a bug. So that one is not... So hopefully this will now all pass and we won't see any red from this. By the way, I had a really interesting case show up today for a library that I've been working on at work that we now have in production and people are using it. And somebody found a really interesting edge case that I was not anticipating. But at least I figured it out and it's not blocking them. You know, it's not like it's something that's failing on them that's in production. So that's good. And I think I know what the problem is. And so tomorrow, hopefully I can get a fix in and everything should be good. As these go by, you can see that the alphabetical ordering tells you kind of how far it is. So I'm so glad I put the investment in to having these kind of tests in place, not just unit and integration, but these, I wouldn't call these end-to-end tests, but these called real world tests, you know, taking libraries and seeing what could be mocked and then generating mocks for them and making sure that the code can actually compile. That has found, like I've said before, so many bugs And I won't make that sound like, man, my library is very buggy. It's just, it's found, I should say it's found bugs in cases that are not on what are the typical path of what people typically do when they're defining types. So, but that's good because that helps me see some interesting, some wild ideas in what people are defining in libraries and just cases that I just did not come up with and I didn't think of. So, that's good. Getting through the M's now. An entity framework is one of those that's just big because there's so many types in it, and it does a fair amount of code gen for that one. So yeah, basically it has to go through every single type that it finds. And it tries to filter out some that it doesn't even check with rocks. It goes, well, if it's a type and it's sealed, it's immediately rejected. We don't even try anything with it. But then I do have to have it run through rocks to make sure that it could or could not. And that takes a little bit of time to do that. So, but anyway, we're getting closer-ish. That's one thing I don't think I have in this library. I don't think I ever added the Spire libraries. I don't think I've done that. Not that I need to, but that's a relatively new framework. I should consider adding those libraries. Stripe is another one, yeah. 3,600 that it finds. Lots of types in that one. I've typically, as long as a package that I reference has types that it can generate, I will keep it in. Oh, crap. See? This is why I do this. This is why I do this. Because there's a lot of these that are now broken because of the change I made. So fault source, partial target. So, okay, that's fine. But now we want to make sure that we cover these cases. I must have opened it up a little bit too far. And we want to make sure that we're not doing that. But at least there's only two types of errors. There's this one and this one. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to grab those. And then let's go up here. Those are 121s, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we have to go through and figure out what caused the issue here for things to get a little screwed up. And we can do that by putting that in here. Okay. And then we need in test generator, we got to have breakpoints to say, actually, let's get rid of, nope. What did I just do? Yep, there we go. So I think I'm going to hit that one. Oh, nope. Sorry, I got to change on the top here. That we're testing with a specific type. Okay. So now we get mock code. We'll grab the value. And we'll dump it in here. I don't know why it does that. There. Okay. So now if we come down here, it's going to tell me the same parameter types. Okay. So let's make sure, yeah, we got to remove that one. So now why? Why would that be the case? If we come back here, we go test a type. If we look at default source serializer, that goes to system text JSON serializer. And what we are looking for is a method called serialize in here. There is not. Okay. So let's go look at system text JSON serializer. What's serializer? And what does that do? It has a serialize method here that is overriding this. Okay. And if we look at serializer, thank God, we finally got to the, so here are the two. So what we have is a case of something like this, okay? So let's get rid of that. We'll keep that up there. So let's put another test in here. So we want we'll just call it custom serializer. And so the abstract class is called serializer. And we want, I bet that's all we need is those two. So we're going to need system IO. And then we want a public class custom serializer that derives from serializer. And what this one does is that it does a override of that, which we can just have it do nothing. Okay. Now we're going to need this, and we want it to be that. Oops. We need these two. And we need these. All right, now we generate the code. Oh, yeah, because now I've got this in here, so we got to comment all that out. Oh, generate with generic abstract and override method. Sure, it's a name. It's a name. All right, now we're gonna get the code. And let's see. Yep, we need test log. It's so big. So create generated code is going to be that. And then we're going to need the make. And I know it's going to feel a little... No, stop. Did not mean to... There we go. All right, now we should get the you've already implemented something method. Method called serialize. Yep. Okay, so you never got there? Really? Okay. That's a little interesting. Well, we got to get to that part, right? Okay, we do. And it's because of equals. Okay, so now we have self-serialize. That's on the serializer. And this is on the custom serializer. Perfect. Okay. And the length's the same. We get the number of parameters. That's the same. And it's not. And it's not. The type is a T. Oh. Set next statement. So we're going to do types match. And on the left and the right is a T. Oh. Didn't I take something out at the top? Yeah, I took something out before. If they're named type symbols, what is left? Left, get type. name. You're a type parameter symbol. Which makes sense. Because if right here we're actually this is looking at the type parameters of the type, so this would be like I enumerable a string, and that's what we're looking at as a string there. However, if we come into this and we're saying this is a type parameter, and then we do dot original definition containing symbol kind, it's a method. So no. Oh. Well, that's wrong. That's very wrong. I don't think that's going to fix this, but it's very wrong. Yeah, we still get the error. That was a bug. But we do want to right. We're coming in. Okay, sorry. We're coming in here. And that's what we took off, right? If I say compare with a modified. Yeah, down here. Because this was looking at them right away. Now what we need to do is when we come in to do types match is to say, well, they're not going to be named type symbols. They could be type parameters. And if they're both type parameters, yeah, we're doing a symbol equality compare, and we don't care about including nullability. If they were type parameters on a method, would we care? only if you're overriding, right? I mean, if they're two overloads, then you don't care. But the thing to keep in mind is that this is a local function, and the only time we call it is when we do an array symbol here, or we are looking at the parameter types themselves. And so what would we do if we get type parameters from the method or type parameters from the type? If it's a type parameter on the type, as long as the positions are the same, they're equal. Is this true? Name left, type argument. If it's not a type parameter, and that's not a type parameter. God, this stuff gets so tricky. So now if you already type if you're truly a type parameter symbol, that means yeah. If left original definition containing symbol kind is equal to named type and the right. So now we're in the case where we're saying they're both type parameters are defined on a type. So now I want to say return var left containing type is equal to as I named type symbol. We know that's true. And now we want to return left containing type parameters index of left is equal to right containing type parameters index of, left type parameter. So in this case, what we're saying is you gave us type parameters, and they are, and also they are both defined on a named type. So as long as their indices are the same between the two, then this is considered equal. But if one or the other or both are method, they're containing symbols of method, then do we care? Actually, this is wrong. It's got to be this. Okay. What we could also do is just say here, if is name type symbol and this is named type symbol right containing type. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And that should make it a little bit more concise. And then we don't need to say that. Okay. What about the case, though, where the type parameters are defined on a method? So we could say here, say, else if the left type and this is method symbol right containing method. We would have only gotten this far if we determine that the method names are the same and everything else is equal. We're just looking to see if the types match. In this case, because this is just an overload case, or an override case, I guess. I guess we just default to this. Now, what would happen if we do this? Okay, one failed, but why did it fail? Because it removed code. Okay. Let's just make sure it did not break this one. It didn't. I think that's the thing that one of the things that makes this library so hard, but why I spend so much time maintaining it and fixing things on it and stuff like that, is because this is not trivial. This is kind of the harder stuff, you know what I mean? And that presents challenges to try and figure why things don't work the way I expect them to, you know. You look at libraries like MLQ and Substitute and whatnot, I believe they all kind of just use something like Castle Core, Castle Dynamic Proxy or something like that, because I'm guessing it has a mechanism in place to tell you what are all your overloads and overrides, stuff like that. Whereas in this case, I got to find them all myself. So let's run the unit test. Let's see if we broke anything here, which is possible. But again, I'm more concerned if it's only a handful. But the integration, especially the code generation tests, still work. That's what matters. They all passed. Let's go into the program here now, and let's see what this does. That works. Okay, so let's just go over test with types, because again, this takes a couple minutes, but it's worth seeing, did I break more? Did I break other things? Did I break other expectations that I'm not considering? And we'll see. I mean, I've said this so many times, especially with this one bug that I'm trying to fix. This stuff is hard. I mean, this is almost trying to effectively do the same thing as overloading. The algorithm to determine, are you overloading? You know, or if you're, that's not easy. And that's why I've said before that it would be really nice if there was something in Roslyn that could just tell you, hey, for a given type, here are all the members that you could override. But it would need to be something that is rock solid. Now, mine obviously isn't, because I keep finding edge cases with it. But something that I could just drop in as a replacement effectively and do this would be so much nicer. So I know my wife was telling me that, oh, there's going to be bad weather tonight and part of tomorrow. So they might have school delayed for a couple hours. There's supposed to be snow around, and I read, in fact, I'm just going to do this while we're waiting. Go into the weather app, assuming weather apps still work these days. So, yeah, Shakopee is supposed to be, like today is 44, but then around 10 a.m. it's supposed to stop. The rain of snow mixture will come down, low will be 27. So when it gets down to 27, we're going to get snow. But the problem is that then Wednesday, oh wait a minute, today, okay, so today it goes into the night, and then Wednesday it stops at 10, yeah. And the roads have just been, like we've had weather, like you see 57 and stuff, where the ground is starting to get warmer, so snow won't stick around for a lot. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, what's Vegas like? Why can't you... Vegas. Next week. Yeah, it's not going to be that warm. It's not going to be that warm, which I don't mind. So, I have been to Vegas so many times. And whatever unique charm it had has long been gone. So, and it's not to say that, you know, I've told people many times, I think it's worth going to Vegas at least once, because it is such a unique town unto itself. You know, like New York or New York City and all the like you have Brooklyn and you have Queens and you have all this. I've been to New York a couple times and I've always enjoyed it. You know, I've not visited every single block in the city, but what I've seen, it's like, it's definitely got attitude, it's definitely got character, but that's what was interesting about it. You know, same thing with Chicago. With Vegas, I don't know, if you enjoy spending a ton of money on overpriced things and gambling a lot and seeing shows, then okay, fine, but that's not really my thing. So, but I'm going there because there's a conference there that I'm speaking at, so I'm cool with that. I think what was harder is in the past when I would go to this conference, it's VS Live, and when I worked for a company called Magenic, we used to do our own track for a while between like 2013 and I think we finally stopped doing it in 2019 or something like that. And so I would almost have to be there the entire week, and that got to be a grind. Now, like, I fly out next Wednesday and I fly back Saturday, so that's about enough. I think if I'm there any longer than that, I got to get out of town and do something else. All right, where are we at? Well, it's less. It's not we didn't get rid of all of them, but it's less than what we had, and it's only one of them. Okay, so CS, and I think we had more of these before. So we used to have this for synchronization context scheduler. And you notice your exception context. And you'll notice that that one's gone. So there must be another really small case that we're not picking up. Okay, so I'm good with that. 351. Making more progress on handling type parameters, but still have a couple of corner cases to solve. All right, let's see if we can knock one out. I've been doing this for about an hour. Let's see if we can get another one of these. So I'm going to grab this one because that one isn't generic. And then I want to grab this virtual time scheduler one because that is generic. Not that that has any difference, but it might. So I want to see what the difference is between the two. All right, let's grab historical scheduler. Let's go here, go here. Put that one here. And let's run this. It's not auto-generated. Okay. And then we can do that. Okay, so we only have 2 down here. And again, it's this, we've already got that defined. Okay. So let's go look at this one. Why do you do this? Why are your hierarchies so hierarchical? Okay, so we see, wait. Historical scheduler. Okay, so does this have a schedule? It does have a schedule absolute. Is it the one daytime offset and a func? With looks like an iScheduler, a T-state, and an iDisposable. Okay. So that is an override. Ugh, this gets fun. Historical scheduler base. It does not have one good, so there. That's interesting because the one here is not even it's not even virtual. So why here does this say override? This must be virtual and wait, we look at, no, schedule absolute. I'm sorry. That's the thing we're looking for, not schedule. We're looking for schedule absolute. And that is abstract. Okay, good. Good. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have something weird. So this is kind of a mix of the two, right? Because this has T absolute and T relative. It also has iSchedule. Oh, those are just interface types. We don't care what the, okay, sorry. That took a second. So we're going to need another test, but that's okay, because what do? We write tests. Generate with mixing type parameter locations. Actually, it does it? State, yeah, absolute is on the type itself. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, copy. This is called historical scheduler. Well, actually, the one here is we want something like this that implements these things, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think that really matters. So we want T absolute, close that, and T relative. And then we want to schedule absolute here, something like this. So has a T state here, has a T absolute up there, and then we just want some interface. It doesn't matter, public interface, IS scheduler, and we have system iDisposable. Okay, cool. Now we come to historical scheduler. Historical scheduler. An historical scheduler does this. What we probably can do is say this implements virtual time scheduler base, putting an absolute and time span for absolute and relative there. Okay, I think that's fine. Whoops. So now when we come to here, we can say override it. It doesn't? iDisposable. Disposable. Ah, crap. There is a here, I'll just do this because we don't really care. We can just say no. And then what we want to do is that. And these are both in system. Okay. So then this is turning into one of those cases where, you know, and I've run into this with rocks before. We're trying to get the solution down is quite, like, again, you just keep running into corner case after corner case after corner case. This usually means that there's something wrong with the code that I have here. That's, yeah, time span is system as well, right? Yep, and iDisposable is system iDisposable. So those are all there. Oh. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it just, you know, if the code isn't correct at all, I'll get that. This window drives me nuts. Okay, and then, okay, right there. For crying out loud. Just go away. Let me get to code again. Always follow the pattern of copying, because that's what matters. There we go. There we go. All right, now we should see already, yeah, there's 2 here, so that's failing. So for whatever reason, it's not picking up that close those. It is not picking up. That. Do. Do we have a breakpoint? Why do I have an is unsafe? Okay, whatever. Let's do that. Okay, so we have a T state and a T state. These are type parameters, but they are both on a method. Huh. That's interesting. So it does have a T state. Maybe, okay, maybe I'm doing this. No, because this works. Or am I just getting lucky with that? Maybe I should take a look at that. Because the left type parameter is a T state, and type parameters also has a T state. But what you're saying is the left containing method but what happens if I say huh. What I'm trying to do is say, is the index, the position of it the same? I was hoping for a funk. I could say select dot name is equal to the left type parameter name. Yeah. And this kind of sucks. But what I could do is say index of single. Yeah, and then we get 0. Okay. So, whoops, that, and then we want to do the same thing except right of everything. This feels a little clunky, but typically you don't have a lot of generics. So, what happens now when we do this? Okay, and we do remove. Okay, so let's do that. But before I come back there, let's do this one, because this should hit the yeah, this. Because they both might be -1. Oh no. Why doesn't that work? And it gives 1. So yeah, that's doing the right thing. I just find it interesting that the other one, it doesn't work that way. Whatever. Let's just make sure this still works. It does. Okay, so let's do some fun code generation. Actually, let me just run all the tests here. I'm going to get 1 to fail this one, but hopefully I don't get a ton to fail. Okay, only 1 failed. That's good. what happens now with this? Did I change it though? I don't know if I changed it. Yes, I did. Okay, encouraging. Let's get this to run and get all the code here. Why are you not? Oh, that's what I wanted. And then I want to get the test log. Grab all this. And then let's put that into create generated code. Yeah. Then we got to get the make version. Okay, now that passes. So that would pass all of them. Now, let's run this test again. Let's see how much we have left. Did we fix it all? Do we still have one case left? Do we create more? Who knows? Who knows? A lot of these libraries, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but someone like Alba. I have no idea what Alba does. What does Alba do? Let's look. Sometimes I just see these and I grab them and I'm like, hey, what is this? Supercharge integration testing for HP endpoints. Oh, Jeremy Miller wrote it. Okay. I must have just seen it one day and went, sure. Why? I mean, what I do sometimes is because I'm bored, is I'll go to packages and I'll just say relevance. And it's funny. Newtonsoft is still #1 with almost 6 billion downloads. That's insane. But there's like one of them in here. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Is it Harmony Live? No, I don't think it's that one. But there's one in here that tries to do a whole bunch of stuff with like, for lack of a better term, like very functional stuff. Can't think of a better way to call it, but that's what, and the type names that it does is really kind of like very, here, is it language ext, func extensions? That might be it. And so, yeah, it definitely has some interesting type names. You see like LLVM sharp there. I didn't find any, but that's okay. I've kept that one in here. And maybe it did. Maybe at one point it did, but an update no longer has anything mockable in it. But what I really should do is if I find a library that doesn't give me any types, that's fine. Just keep it in there as a test, because that's also testing that Rox is making sure that I don't create mocks for things that I can't. Now, of course, like I said, I put in a little bit of a extra work up front to say if the type is sealed, I don't even do it. I think if I look in here and I say I don't want to do whole word. Yeah, right here. So there's a couple things I do to find stuff. where it's not a subclass of delegate, it is not a value type, it is not sealed, and there's some types that I've said ignore for whatever reason. So that has nothing to do with rocks. That's just me getting types that have possibilities of being mocked. So. See if we see any red this time. If we don't, or if we do, either way. Whenever I get to the end of this, I get a little bit more hesitant because I'm like, what kind of gift is it going to show me now? Nice. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I like that. Looks like all corner cases have been cornered. All right, so we know the cogen tests work. Let's shut down startup again, and then let's do one more run of this with the unit and integration tests, and let's see what that does. Because if this passes, then I think we're good. Yeah, they all pass. They all pass. None shall pass. What do I want to call this? Members using generic types different. We're just going to do this. Using generic types with different type parameters are now generated correctly. And this is issue 351. I always try to put in my change log what a very short summary of it. And then if people go, well, what does that mean? Because that's not necessarily, I admit that this is not correct TLY. There we go. And so I want to commit this, and then I'll be done. Right? 51 change log has been changed. Time for a merge. All right, cool. So that solves that one. That went a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. We came to a satisfying conclusion with this. At least I think it's satisfying because we solved the issue. We actually came up with a couple more tests to make sure that we are handling other cases that we ended up causing errors on. And now we've got those tests in place. You know, I could, I guess, add integration tests for these cases, but quite frankly, I'm fine with just sticking with the unit test for now. I will consider adding integration tests off camera, because this one is like, it works. I might add an integration test for the one that I found, which was the original one, and then just leave it at that. So, but I will do that off camera. So the next time I do a coding stream, the one I want to work on is this hiding method. Hiding methods are always fun. So let me zoom in on this a little bit so you can see it. So in this case, we have a method here that has this constraint, and then we do a new. And then this can be fixed if the base type is generated explicitly. So this is one that was found by trying to duplicate an issue in substitute. So I think either I'm going to handle one explicitly, or I'm not sure how I'm going to get to fixing this. But I have had a couple of bugs in the past where doing something with this new, and I hate's a strong word, so I'm going to use hate. I really don't like hiding. I get that hiding is one of those things where you're basically saying, I literally don't want you to see this one that was declared before. Where, you know, basically it's kind of like we know we made a mistake and we wanted to make it better, but we can't for versioning reasons get rid of it. So we're just going to put this one here. More, I mean, I'm really generalizing there, but I have a disdain for new because it just makes things, I think, a little bit harder to reason about and understand what the code's actually doing. But it's legitimate. You can do this in C#. So this will be the next one that I have to figure out, which is the constraints. Yeah, consider using an explicit interface implementation. I think that's what actually ends up happening when I did this. I say, yeah, here's the class. I say derive it from service derive. And so what it will do is it will do this one correctly, and then in that this, you know, it's defined this way. But then this one is defined explicitly. And for whatever reason, I'm not picking up on the explicitly thing. It might be because of the constraints or something, I don't know. But that's for the next coding stream that I do. And I don't know when I'm going to get around to actually doing that. Maybe I do one on Sunday and try to address this one, or I might just wait until I get back from Vegas. We'll see. So with that, I don't think there's, if I look at the issues, there's really not a lot in terms of features. I want to change to using the testing platform at this point. That should be all ready to go. This is from somebody I work with that I'm not really thrilled or keen on. I don't really see quite the point. This seems like a little bit too much. Yeah, how is this idea easier than just doing this? So I've really got a lot of, I don't know if I even want to do that. I do want to move some stuff around, but a lot of this is just kind of like, not really that big of a deal. Yeah. Nothing real major. I mean, the one with static abstract members, I've always wanted to do, but that one's going to be a lot of work to get done, and I might just push those all out until like a 9.2 or something. So anyway, I think I'm done with the stream for now. So if you're watching this now or in the future, thank you for doing so. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. planning on doing an Outer Wild stream on Thursday night, where I will be getting into more of the DLC stuff, and probably doing another Outer Wild stream on either Saturday and or Sunday, depending on time and depending how much, you know, I have to put into getting stuff squared away for the conference. But I will definitely be doing one Thursday night and definitely be doing one more this weekend. So that's the plan. So thank you all for watching. Take care.